The truth is, I never loved you. Your name's Pat. Jungkook's eyes went wide at her statement. You don't? You don't mean that. He tried to reach for her, but she backed away. I do. Who could ever love someone like you? She gave him one last anonymous glance before turning away from him and ran out in the rain, never looking back. Her tears were mixed with rainwater, and her sobs were concealed by the sound of heavy rain and thunder. Jungkook watched her go, too shocked to cry and too shocked to follow her. Little did he know that would be his last chance to talk to her. I'm going to get groceries. Anyone wanna come? Jin's announcement fell on deaf ears. Guys, he shouted, I'll come Hyung. Jungkook jogged towards him. With that, they both set out to the supermarket. Three months have passed since Yeonnim left Jungkook. After that night, when he had finally accepted that it wasn't all a dream, that Yeonnim had actually left him, he tried every way to contact her. He went to her house, but she had moved out. She never picked up her call or responded to his text. After 2 months, he had given up, thinking that Yeonnim really hated him. The thought still felt strange to him. Yeonnim was so happy with him, or was she just pretending? They arrived at her destination and immediately started gathering the items on the grocery list. They were at the vegetable station. Jungkook put a cabbage in the trolley when he saw someone familiar at the far end of the aisle. He narrowed his eyes at the figure and realized it was really them. Jungkook gave out a small gasp and ran towards that person. He held her arm, which startled her. Jenny? He breathed. Jungkook, she asked, clearly surprised to see him. Where is she? He got straight to the point. Who? You know who? Jungkook was irritated. Your name, your best friend. Where is she? There's no way you wouldn't know. Uncertainty flashed across her eyes. I can't tell you, she said quietly. Jungkook, what is it? Jin asked. I'll explain later. He turned back towards the girl. Your name. Please, I need to know. I know. I don't know why she is mad at me or why she hates me, but hates you? God. How can you even say that? Then, for a moment, he did not know what to say. Then tell me, where is she? I need to talk to her. Take out whatever it is that's keeping her away from me. Jenny shook her head. I'm sorry, Cook, but she can't see you. Please. He said desperately. I'm hurting Jenny a lot, and I have been ever since that night. Okay, she gave in. But I can't tell you here. There's a cafe near the store. I'll see you there in 10 minutes. Jungkook nodded. He was one step closer to finding your name. Jungkook explained what he could to Jin. About your name and their relationship. How she had left him, then disappeared. Jin's expression turned grave in understanding. He waited in his car outside the cafe while Jungkook waited for Jenny inside. Hey, she greeted him in a grin tone. Jungkook gave a nod. Where do we start? Firstly, I should tell you that Yeonnim loved you. The words she said to you that night hurt her more than they do to you. Then why? One day, when Yeonnim woke up, her parents took her to the hospital. Jungkook was starting to tense up in his chair. No, it can't be. Jenny continued. The doctor said she didn't have much time to live. So her parents took her to another city for her treatments to lengthen her life. The day before they left, Yeonnim finished things off with you. She knew you loved her and she didn't want to see you in pain. So, she found a way to make you hate her. At least, she thought it would work. She wanted you to move on and live your life happily. That's why she hid that secret from you. Her eyes were moist by the time she finished. How could she? Jungkook's voice cracked. How could she think a few words would be enough to sway me? His voice came out strained. Is she? Is your name dead? Jenny completed his sentence for him. No, thankfully no. The relief Jungkook felt was indescribable. She is admitted in a hospital here in Seoul, but she is in coma. Doctors say it's highly likely that she will not wake up. Jungkook asked her for the name of the hospital and all other details. He didn't want to wait any longer. He asked Jin to drop him at the said hospital. On arriving there, he moved towards her room. He looked through the glass window to find it empty, except for the patient lying on the bed. He nervously went inside and took a seat near her bed. The sight made his eyes water. He clasped a hand on his mouth and drawn to sobs. Yonem looked so weak. Her cheeks and eyes had sunken. Her skin was ghostly pale and her lips were chapped. He held her bony hand and cried harder. Please don't leave me. He said between his sobs, I'm sorry for misunderstanding you. Come back to me, please. I love you. He got no response from her. From that day onwards, he visited her every day in hopes that she would wake up. Until one day, to visit her, he needed to go to her funeral instead the hospital. Jenny's teary face came in front of him. Please, she cried. You have to respect her wishes. She wants you to move on. Do that for her. How? His voice was hollow. Nonetheless, he tried. Tried not to think about her, but everything around him seemed to be attached to her in one or another way. What if I had stopped her that night? What if I hadn't met Jenny at the store? What if I had lived on without knowing about her death? All his thoughts were plagued by what ifs. He supposed it was better that he knew the cold truth. He needed some closure. The end.